What's up and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be ranking the top 5 rarest legendary guns and items in Borderlands 2. Now, if you did not already know, as the game currently sits on our current patch in damn near 2025 at this point, a good portion of the legendary items in the game have a respectable 10% drop rate. But for a couple of them, they just so happen to be just a little bit harder to get. And I've played this game since 2012. I've done a little bit of research just to make sure, and I think that our number 1 spot may actually surprise a lot of you. But with that being said, let's just go ahead and jump straight into the list. And coming in at our number 5 spot, we have a shield that at this point, it is one of the most iconic shields in Borderlands history. You should all know and love it by now. It is the Sham. Now, I want to say just right away, I'm kind of cheating here because number 5 is also the Bitch, as the drop rate for the Sham and the Bitch are actually the same at an outstanding 3.33% from the bunker. But I'm gonna ask the comments to back me up on this one. I feel like the Bitch is just a little bit more common, but because of odds in the code of this game, technically speaking, getting a Bitch to drop is just as rare as it is to get a Sham. Now, when it comes to a perfect variant, that's a different story. If you don't know, every item in Borderlands 2 has parts that roll upon each drop that will determine how good the item is. Because shields have so many different parts that roll, it's got a few more variants than that of our little legendary SMG here. Obviously today, we're not taking perfect variants into account, but just in terms of the legendary dropping, the Sham and Bitch are both the 5th rarest legendary items in Borderlands 2, and rightfully so, I might add. If you didn't know, the shield has an extremely high absorption chance that will vary depending on what parts you get, but the bullets it absorbs not only go right into your backpack reserve, but if you get a low-level Bada Boom, another legendary rocket launcher that can be farmed by King Mong later on in the game, you can rocket jump to get crazy movement when combined with the Sham shield. You can also shoot a Logan's gun or a low-level Rocketeer at your feet and regenerate rocket launcher ammo, which is really nice later on, as rocket ammo is, not cheap.
And I'm the first person to stand up and say, this is fucked, this is not right, this is not cool.
Regardless, both of these are top tier legendaries that will work well across literally every other character, with the SMG being underrated overall, and the Sham specifically being a meta item across all classes. So yeah, I don't think there's anything that I can tell you about the Sham that you don't already know. It's an amazing shield that you might have some difficulty obtaining. And coming in at our number 4 spot, I'm about to cheat again. It is the Hide of Terramorphous and the Blood of Terramorphous, coming in at an outstanding drop rate of 2.86%. Yeah, less than 3% for these items. Terramorphous does have a 100% drop rate for his legendary Slayer class mods, which actually aren't near as bad as people think. But back to the Blood and Hide. The Hide is one of the best melee shields in the game all across the board, but its damage output with Zero and Krieg is absolutely phenomenal, and I can't recommend it enough for any melee builds out there. The Blood of Terramorphous, on the other hand, yeah, it's just a waste of time. And coming in at our number 3 spot, this is an assault rifle that for a long time didn't even have a loot source. Manufactured by Vladov, it is the Hellfire. And yeah, when the game first shipped, it legitimately could only be found through world drops. After we got the Captain Scarlet DLC though, it was tossed into Hyperion's loot pool. Which, okay, honestly, the Hellfire is a cool spinny gun barreled assault rifle, and I even like the skin on it. The texture for it looks pretty good, but it just lacks a little bit in terms of the damage category. While not being the worst of all time, it falls more on the mediocre to mid side of things, if we're being honest. Not awful, not great, it's just kind of there. But it's the drop rate of 1.95% that makes it one of the rarest assault rifles in all of Borderlands 2. And while there is one that I'll get to a little bit later on that is a bit harder to get, the Hellfire is one of the undisputed champions of rare assault rifles, being locked behind a raid boss with a rather large loot pool and just having an extremely low chance to drop. It safely landed itself here in the middle of our list. Coming in at our number 2 spot, we have a weapon that is easily going to be in every top 5 best weapon list for this game. I don't care what it is, even if it's a tier list. This item is going to be at the top with the best of the best gear. And it's another item that's actually earned its rarity and makes sense to be a rare item. And it is the Norfleet. Manufactured by Malawan, this rocket launcher can come in any element, and it also has two different drop sources. One being spawning Vermivorous the Invincible, which is quite the task, I might add, especially in solo, as you must level up a normal Varkid into an adult, a badass, super, ultimate, and eventually the supreme badass. So if you thought the Shredifire farm was rough, man, the Norfleet is a whole other beast. But because Vermivorous is such a rare chance to even spawn, a lot of players haven't even seen him till this day and just choose to farm Hyperius, who comes in at a staggering 1.67% drop chance for the Norfleet rocket launcher. So yes, you will be farming the same guy that I was just speaking about, who can also drop the Shredifire, except now you're down to a 1.67% drop chance. Like I said, both of these items come from the same source, but just remember that one is a little bit rare, and maybe just 6 or 7 hairs better as well. As you'll see in the footage there, it's a mobbing machine that has been deemed the best in slot rocket launcher for a long time in Borderlands 2, to which I really can't dispute. As you can see by the footage on screen, it's just an absolute freaking monster. And if you don't already have one on your character, well then go ahead and get to farming, bucko, because you got a long road ahead of you.
How much signal I need to cut across 8 lane? None? I turn now. Good luck, everybody else!
Honorable mentions. Alright, so the first one should be no surprise, but I was kind of shocked that it didn't end up making the list, but it is the Thunderball Fist. Specifically from Captain Flint, but also just in general, as Captain Flint and Sparky Flint both have a 5% drop chance for this weapon. Overall though, this is just a weapon that you do not see very often, and every time that I'm killing Captain Flint, I'm just begging and praying that he'll drop me this gun. And even in the 12 years of playing this game, having beaten Borderlands 2 probably 250 times by this point, I've maybe seen Captain Flint drop that gun a total of 15 times. I swear I'm still shocked that it didn't make the list today, but really it's because Sparky Flint exists in the Son of Carmarak's Headhunter pack, who also has a 5% drop chance, who is actually pretty much just the same as Captain Flint, except the run is just a hair or two shorter, that's for sure, because holy fucking shit, the run to Captain Flint is actual hell. I would know, as I've done 100 runs of this damn boss, and take a guess at how many Thunderball Fists I saw by the end of it. Well, if you guessed 3, you were correct. I only saw 3 Thunderball Fists in 100 runs of Captain Flint. So yeah, definitely not a common gun. And the other honorable mention is the Ogre. Okay, this one isn't even just because of the drop chance, because it's actually got a pretty high drop chance, but it's just about getting the boss in the first place. If you're not already aware, you'll have to complete the magic slaughter to the very end just to get a chance at the Ogre from the Warlord Slog. And the drop rate is actually really solid at a 21.5% chance. But like I said, it's actually getting to the boss that could be the difficult part here. And then if you don't get it, well, then you've got another 30-minute run, maybe even longer depending on your gear, until you actually get another chance at Warlord Slog. Especially if you're playing any character that's not Salvador, you're going to have a rough time getting to the end. I will say though, the AR that we are speaking of is one of the best in the game by a landslide, and even the Thunderball Fist, I didn't really mention it, but it also performs really well on Axton. Quite an underrated gun because of the splash damage. Overall, both of them are pretty solid, but they just quite didn't squeak onto the list today. And coming in at our number 1 spot, Hellfire's cheating again, because it is the Fire Bee and the Bouncing Bonnie. So, what makes these grenade mods so rare and difficult to obtain in comparison to at least every other item on this list is one thing, and it's the fact that neither legendary has a dedicated drop source, meaning that the only way to get these to roll is to get a world drop, which is well below a 1% chance. For anyone that's not already aware, a world drop is where an enemy's drop rolls as a legendary that's not in their loot pool. For example, and this is a bad example because Knuckle Dragger can't world drop, but just use this as an example. Knuckle Dragger has a specific legendary in his loot pool called the Hornet. If he were to drop something else, say like the Unkempt Herald, which is specifically designed to drop from Savage Lee, a boss later on in the game, that would be a world drop from Knuckle Dragger. Or for a recent example that actually happened to myself, you will see now the Bunker is going to go ahead and drop a B shield. This isn't what he's supposed to drop, but because of some luck, one of these random drops rolled as a legendary. While not everything in the game can world drop, there's a lot of things in the game that actually can. And I would recommend, if you are looking for these grenades, the wildlife loot midgets are the best way to go ahead and pick these up, as they've been the most consistent for me personally. But in terms of how good they are, the bouncing Bonnie is a solid grenade for slag utility if you get a low level version, while the OP10 bouncing Bonnie is more than likely going to slag you or maybe even kill your dumbass. The Fire Bee, on the other hand, is unironically a top tier grenade that is more than worthy of being such a rare item. It sends out these flamethrower like gusts in each direction while spinning in a 360, torching all the enemies that it happens to tickle on its way around. And the only thing unfortunate about it is actually just how damn rare the thing is. But regardless, it's a top tier grenade mod that is criminally underrated, and most importantly, the rarest legendary in Borderlands 2. That's going to do it for my list today though, guys. If I missed anything, please let me know down in the comments below, and if you at all enjoyed your stay, consider the like button and pressing subscribe if you have not already. And for anyone wanting to go the extra mile to help support the channel, become a member today and join the ranks of Benjamin Franklin's, Big LMAO RPG, and Tony Owen. You both throw no ones around here, and we keep it nothing but 100. And that's pretty much going to do it. Like I said, let me know if there's something that I forgot. Remember that I got more videos coming later this week, but these are the rarest legendaries in the game. Obviously, not all of these are the rarest items in the game altogether. I didn't take in, uniques, pearls, or nothing like that. This is just the strict legendary list of the rarest legendaries in Borderlands 2. And I mean, some of these are definitely up there, but with that being said, I think I've rambled for long enough. Remember that I love you all to death. I want you to take it easy out there, stay safe, and with that, I will see you all in the next one.